All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Bunny Girl Senpai, Season 1, Episode 8. Futaba is, well, split. Yeah.
And also posting very, well, not that lewd. Not that lewd. This is like Japanese high schooler lewds.
Right, exactly.
She puts her glasses in her mouth a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, does 2 buttons down.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wow, this is...
What is this new devilry? Yeah.
It's like, oh my.
Taking pictures of her mid-thigh.
I know. Yes.
Oh,
calling one of them Selfie 69.
I mean, yeah, I think she just numbered them and it was, yeah. But, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, the show decided to go to selfie number 69 because it's a joke, so you get it.
It's not a joke. The situation is very serious here, and she is, I believe, going underappreciated and under-noticed. So, therefore, there's double the Futaba, and they're both, acting very differently.
Yes.
And that's something that... in kind of ways tells us what the situation is with her.
Is that one
of them is probably being unfiltered and honest.
The repressed side of her that now is roaming free.
Exactly. But we have to figure out how Sakuta can help.
Indeed.
We've also got the situation with Makinahara Shoko still just
chilling
at his place, you know?
Yeah.
Thankfully, Mai is involved.
And very helpful.
More Mai
understanding
in our lives is just always going to be a good thing.
Indeed. It's mighty powerful.
Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Okay. All right, we have Futaba's problem resolved.
Yep.
I really like this mini arc for her.
Wasn't it great?
I think that this one was just done way better than the previous one.
Yeah, it had only 2 episodes instead of 3.
Yep.
And it dealt with
helped.
2 characters in it.
Yeah, and not really.
Like not
it was
really, but
primarily Futaba though.
Yes, because they're both aspects of Futaba, right? But yeah, like I really like how this arc is handled and everything, just because of the concept behind it, and then the idea that there is also technically Sakurajima Mai, or not
Makinahara
Shoko that's also introduced. So it's like there's a lot of things happening.
Yeah, that felt a little bit kind of out of nowhere now looking back, because you're like, wait, why?
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess something will happen later with that.
And even with the bit in the after credits thing, it seemed like it was hinting that the blonde girl is going to be the next, sort of like focus character, right?
Yeah.
Not
for sure.
Not Makinahara Shoko, even though she was introduced like a while ago.
That was something that started to make sense once they kind of just zoomed in on that cast of girls that were in
Right, and it's like, wait, that's the other girl from the OP that we've never seen before. Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, where's blonde girl? It's
right.
Like, oh, well, there you go.
There you go.
Our first ever blonde girl we've had actually focused on in the entire show thus far. And, and Showbiz, there's a cool potential Mai connection there. That'll be fun.
Sure.
But I really liked a couple things with this arc's resolution based on, I feel like, the way this episode started to clear up what the conflict was about really quickly. Because it made sense that it was something regarding her not feeling seen.
Sure.
And thus she puts up, an account of some kind.
Pictures
online
to draw attention to herself, to make doubly sure that she's seen. It's kind of a weird inverse of Mai's situation.
But I love the way they brought up the idea that it was based on something of feeling alone. And that the pictures, when she posted them up originally with the account, like when she was even younger, was a form of self-harm. There's been like multiple experiences I've had where a person very much asks you to basically just be there so that they don't feel alone.
Sure.
So that whole thing of, hey, Sakuta or Azusagawa, yeah, I'm here. Asakawa? Yeah, I'm here. I was just like, oh, that takes me back. That takes me back. I've been in that situation on both ends. It is a very real, like, emotional thing where you're just like, okay, breathe. If you're the one like needing to feel like there's someone else there, but then also when you're there for someone, all they just need to know is that you're there. And it's huge. It's huge. And thus the fact that they went out. This is something that I think is it's very helpful depending on the place that you're at. But if the place that you're at is safe enough and actually is, I would say it has good enough weather, something like going out and calling a friend with this, so it becomes a trio. It's fantastic. But then going and doing something in the midst of this kind of open, kind of lonely environment.
Right, late at night, where you can be
you can kind of be free to just do whatever.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I moments like those I absolutely cherished growing up, where it was the being alone in public. Like kind
Would you
of
consider this that though?
Or well, I mean, I guess it's no. This is something different because it's at night. It's not actually like when there's crowds around and stuff.
Yeah.
But like that idea of just going to a place where theoretically anyone could see them, right? Like anybody else could be on the beach, anybody else could, someone could be in a house watching them from a window or whatever, who knows? They're lighting fireworks. That is something that definitely draws attention to themselves,
I mean,
right?
If it's like 2 a.m. though,
if it's 2 a.m.,
very rare likelihood anyone's gonna see that.
Right.
Though.
The most they'll probably get is someone that like wakes up and is like, fucking kids, like.
Right, but I mean they're at the beach, so you'd be surprised how loud the beach is actually.
Sure,
at night
crashing into the waves and things like that.
Yeah, when there's no noise just in general. Second thing though, the idea of them going out here and it being the proof of the pudding that
they're
our
friends.
potato boy is really sincere, very earnest.
Watch, I'll make you fall in love with him all over again.
Exactly.
Hey, she's in trouble. Come over here.
He gets there before they do because he bikes with his super body all the way over there.
Exactly.
Before they do, when they were probably closer to that spot. And he's like, how the hell did you get here before us?
Right.
He's just like,
how did we, Kronk?
Yeah. I get reminded of times when it would be late and I'd be hanging out with some of my buddies at college, and what we would do is we would go hit up 24-hour convenience stores late at night. I mean, late at night. And we would basically walk very slowly to each way so that we would get plenty of time to chat and stuff.
Sure.
And it was almost never in just two. There's something really special once a group goes beyond the 2 number and hits 3 to 5 or something.
Yeah.
Where no one's going to be left out in the conversation, but it's something where you don't feel like there's some kind of one-on-one pressure. I know that there are times when you can have bits where people are like, oh, anything you say in a one-on-one context suddenly means a little bit more because you're saying it to a specific person.
Sure.
But if you say something out into the group's air, then it's something that everyone feels a little bit safer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe?
I know the feeling you're talking about. It gives me kind of like a pigs in a blanket kind of feel, where it's like where you're wrapped up in the idea that you're with people, that you're in a safe environment. So there's probably that evolutionary sort of thing of safety in numbers, right? Yeah, the pack thing. But then also if it's specifically a pack in an area where people don't necessarily normally go, right?
Yeah.
It's something where it's especially if they're there on behalf of the individual, like if one person in particular is having a hard time or something, like was the case here. In a one-on-one standpoint, there's this sense of balance, kind of, that like, okay, you do the same for me kind of a deal, right? Okay. Or at least there can be that.
Okay.
When you have a bigger group, that it breaks the efficiency like thing in my mind, like, or at least this is how I think of it, where you have potentially multiple people that are doing this for you, right? And it's not like there can be this security in that it isn't about some like tit for tat like equivalent exchange or anything necessarily. It's just that being in a crowd and yet knowing that, like, I guess it's just pack mentality, like.
Yeah, and I definitely see that the stories I'm bringing up don't correlate specifically to this, but once Kunimi was there and he just realized that
You don't need to tell me what's
You don't
up.
need to tell me what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It became the group that I'm talking about.
Right.
Because if it had been the thing of where, we need to be here for her, then they might not have been willing to go.
That can be a different kind of pressure.
Yeah, exactly. It's in some ways, I would say, the wrong way to do things if you did that. Because then they wouldn't have gone and done fireworks. One or two of them could have been too conscientious in a negative way about her feelings and then not have been willing to actually just go and have a fun, goofy time with her.
Right.
That was asking her too many questions or something like that.
Yes.
So that's why I was wanting to bring up the convenience store kind of dynamic where it's we're going out here to do this thing, but it's primarily just a means by which we can all just kind of get out and go away from it. So we're all equals here. Mm-hmm. No one is needing special help. No one is doing this and leading it. It's just hey, let's go all do this thing. And sure. And I love that because, like, even the beach kind of dynamic, when we did it, we were always walking alongside a freeway. Freeways are really loud in the U.S. if they're any kind of active, even late into the night.
Yes.
There are tons of trucks and big things and stuff that are constantly going alongside the way that we were walking because you'd have to basically constantly have, not have to, but there would just be constant traffic going along there, even if it was only like the one big truck there. But this here led to just a moment where, we were not trying to be your, like, counselor boys or whatever.
Yeah, so let me rephrase the thing that I was trying to get at before. Most of the time I find people can't actually help you with problems that you're going through. They can't.
Not really.
And their best attempts, even if they're really trying to be conscientious and things like that, actually get in the way, right? Because then it's trying to basically you can get caught in a situation where you're trying to make sure that they feel good about the fact that they're trying to help you rather than actually just dealing with your situation.
What Sakuta was talking to her in the hospital about.
Right.
And then she was like, you should have been saying, like, XYZ or whatever.
Sure.
And he's just like, what?
And there's no one that will know better how to help you than you, for the most part, right? Like that's a pretty good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
So, in situations like this, where the people show up, and they're there originally for her, right? But they trust her enough that she'll be able to handle whatever situation that she's in, that they don't actually need to directly help, right? Mm-hmm. But two, that they can help by just giving an environment that will be a break from whatever that the person is going through. Mm-hmm. So, let's just go and do fireworks, because you know what? It'd be kind of nice to do something stupid. Right, just something dumb and silly that doesn't really have like too much meaning behind it or anything like that. Yeah. But at the same time, it means everything, right?
Right. It led to the picture, and the picture was genius because what Sakuta did by bringing the picture back is it made the other Futaba jealous.
Yes.
And I mean very, very jealous.
Oh yeah.
Because that was something, like she said, she would have killed to be in that photo. She doesn't have memory of that.
Right.
However, one of the things that I think that Sakuta maybe caught on rather quickly, too, is when he was asking, you need to choose someone's side. He's like, I'm on Futaba's side. Is he might have realized that the only way this ends positively is that if everything collapses back together and Futaba remains only one being.
Sure.
That means there's a possibility that he either along the way started to clue in as to which one was the right one, or that it didn't matter.
And that's what I think it is.
Is that whenever they would collapse, they would gain the memories of both. Meaning that the experiences that any of them had would basically be given to Futaba.
Right. And one other way of thinking about this, too, is that if you have a situation where there's doubles, right? And it specifically stems from the notion that they do not accept each other, right?
Oh, okay.
That's why there was the split, right? Futaba didn't accept the different parts of herself, and as such, she started to disassociate, like she said.
Right.
Having them collapse back into one.
Yeah.
Well, you could say which one was the original, but if they were both parts of her, that only is able to happen when one of them has accepted the other the other version of her enough to the point where she's okay with the idea of this one being the one that disappears. Right. And that's why she goes and then she calls her and then she vanishes and that was okay. Right. She had made her peace with that. Right. And it wasn't because of some overwhelming like self-hatred or anything like that of wanting to just disappear so that way there would just be the other one, but it was acceptance.
Yeah.
Because there's the acceptance of the other version of her that she has to get to, right? And the picture was a very effective way of getting that, right?
Yeah.
But then there's the acceptance of herself as well, right? The current version of her, right? Mm-hmm. And you need to have both. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love this arc with how it handles the supernatural aspects of everything and how it gets resolved and things like that. And even Kunimi, the potato, that comes along and shows, you know what? Potatoes can be pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, I don't need to have some kind of complex understanding or awareness of what you're going through. I can just be here.
Like, have you ever had a really good russet? It's amazing.
Wow. A little thing that I just wanted to pay attention to here is that we got a little bit of a flashback for origins of their connection, Sakuta and Futaba, and that was a really sweet little bit there because in a lot of ways she makes mention later. She's like, "Oh, if only you two were girls," basically, and what I think it is that she has this awkwardness around, social situations and stuff. So she ends up not having many friends. But she also might have intentionally voted herself off the island of basically friends in general based on the self-hatred, self-harm kind of stuff with regards to the photos and stuff. And there's a real likelihood, basically, that in some ways the indifference of Sakuta and Kunimi made it actually comfortable for her to pretend like they were friends.
Okay.
But it wasn't until the actual beach moment that she
realized
they are actually
we
friends.
are actually friends, yeah.
And then she was like, oh, if like that was at the I believe that was at the bit with the very end when
with
they were
fireworks and everything.
When they were at the fireworks and they had the kimonos and the yukatas or
and what that communicates to me is that she talked about how she, when she started going through puberty earlier, that was really hard because people started treating her differently, right? I wouldn't be surprised if one of the reasons why she was wishing that they were girls is because she has a better experience with being able to have friends that were girls because of the whole guy-girl thing, right? And not necessarily as much confidence that she could have really good guy friends.
Yeah.
Because there would always be that whole idea of like, well, apparently I have a hot body, so how does that fit into the mix, right?
Sure.
And then,
apparently
in this situation,
it wasn't at the end, though. Hold on.
Oh, it was.
I'm trying to find the actual part where she says the line, but it's not at the end of the episode.
Gotcha.
It's something that happens at a different point. Trying to find it. Huh.
But yeah, the whole idea.
Oh, there it is. There it is. It's at the end when they're talking about pulling the
stupid,
all-liner.
obviously. Yeah, there we go. How I wish you two were girls. Yep.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of someone ending up confessing their love to someone, but then also in the same breath basically telling them, hey, you should
go make up with your girlfriend.
It was
probably a dumb fight over something with myself or Sakuta. Yeah.
Yep. And I gotta say also, Kunimi's girlfriend, I don't know if
she's a bit possessive.
She's a bit possessive. I don't know if she's necessarily girlfriend material. Futaba could have had good reason to actually say I don't think she's right for you.
Well, that's actually it's not her place to say that.
Exactly.
One of the things that I've been waiting for is the Kunimi arc. When is the Kunimi focus coming? Because otherwise he's literally the potato friend. But there's a possibility that she's smart and she's basically saying, no, you should go make up with your girlfriend. Now, there was a line that was said a couple times in this episode here. It says, that sounds like a lot of effort. And what might have happened here in the slightest bit is she's like, no, you know what? If it's meant to be, if it's something that if he's interested in me, well,
it'll happen eventually.
It could happen eventually. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell him this here so that he knows that, one, I care about him more than me.
Sure.
Then, if things collapse there, I'm still here.
That's true. That's true.
And in some ways, I don't think it takes a genius to look at their relationship already, the girlfriend and Kunimi, and be like, that's not going to last long anyway.
Yeah. No.
So telling him to go make up with her, that I don't think it necessarily is her entirely giving up. It's just saying this is the mature thing to do.
It's
here.
Acceptance.
It is acceptance.
Like that if that does happen, then I guess that happens. I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
As a scientist and everything, I have maybe good reason to believe that it won't happen. But but even if it does,
letting go of the result.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And then that's
that's really cool. Yep. So I feel like this arc was kind of the yes because Furuba doesn't really get much focus in the OP even
that's true.
Kinda, not really.
Yeah, not
it's
really.
More
like
Mai
she's shown,
and Koga, I believe.
Yeah.
But she is there for a little bit. But the fact that they kept coming back to her in the other arcs, and she kind of feels a little bit
she does feel like
tread upon and just kind of just ignored. And I'm like, that needs vindication. I need something with that. And then this arc comes along, and it's nice and short. It really delivered the point home really well. That this episode was especially good. There was a lot of good feels moments in it, and then the ending with the phone, that was perfect because I thought really that she was calling Kunimi.
Same.
And then nope, she was calling herself, and I'm like, oh, that's brilliant.
And it just drops. And because you're thinking, you even said it, you were like, okay, well, they need to meet, right? Mm-hmm. It's probably going to be something where they
both show up.
They both show up, and
then the fireworks thing,
right? And then there's some sort of Prisoner of Azkaban thing where one of them flickers out of existence or something like that, right?
And then Kunimi shows up and misses all of it, because potato.
Yeah.
But also because I'm gonna call up a pattern here. We're now at 3 here. Okay. No one has ever found any direct evidence of any of these events happening, with these shenanigan things happening. They came really close in this one here because of the doppelganger situation.
Right.
But no one saw 2 Futubas.
Nope.
No one even heard 2 Futubas.
Other than Sakuta.
But Sakuta's involved in all of them.
Right.
But it's just the idea that Sakuta's original puberty syndrome thing was the hospitalization scar thing, right? That still hasn't been resolved.
That's true.
All the other instances of this, there's one that was entirely based on observation, with Mai. So of course no one else notices.
Right.
That's the entire function of it. Koga's is a freaking time loop, so of course of course no one notices it.
Right.
Furuba's is the one where Furuba's not getting consulted about this anymore. It's her problem. So I'm thinking this could be the one where he has to consult someone else. And he does kind of. He consults Mai, really.
Right.
But Mai never sees anything in the same way that Furuba never encountered anything. They all had to just believe Sakuta here.
Right. And the closest that she got is when they saw Furuba at the net cafe or whatever.
Yep. And then
he called her on
and
Mai's phone.
Yeah.
But it was Sakuta that was actually talking to her.
Exactly. Yeah. That was something that I was very much thinking in this episode. Okay, if they seem to be resolving this here, then this could be the moment where they break the pattern. But no, we're at 3 instances now. The pattern is held true.
Yeah.
There is something very, very interesting going on here in the fact that Sakuta has never actually been able to truly share this with anyone necessarily. in
Gotcha.
that respect, I'm hoping beyond hope that the fact that this show has 13 episodes so far in the first season,
13 episodes, yeah,
but also a movie.
indeed. Yep.
I want either the last arc of this season or the movie to be
like Sakuta's story,
like Sakuta focused.
that would be pretty great.
That would be
Yeah.
very
I am
good.
like I'm not going to say anything about what the rest of the show entails, of course, right? But I am very curious to see what they
you haven't
did
seen
for
the movie.
because I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard
yeah.
really good things about it. So, I'm curious.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I think if they're going to do a Sakuta focused thing, they don't have to go into that. They could just have it be a thing where they're just capitulating
Him and
on
Mai
a lot
being
of the things with
adorable,
Mai and him. Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's that. Last little bit, I guess.
The little bit that we got of blonde girl and
She looks in the mirror and she kind of looks surprised.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go out and throw out a couple theories here based on kind of the pattern of types of problems we've had thus far. She doesn't recognize herself, so it could be something memory related. That's something that immediately comes to mind. The other one is that she's got some kind of like not a clone situation, but it's something that's very similar to the observation kind of issues that these all seem to be based around, and that's that she's a part of an idol group.
Yes.
So her whole thing could be about standing out versus blending in and being uniformed.
Oh, okay.
So it's something where like her hair color is like not supposed to be blonde or something. Like just something really really simple, and it's a visual issue.
Okay.
So observation, looking in the mirror, beholding herself. Wait, who is that? Or
Yeah.
wait, why is that? Something like that. That's the kind of the first things that come to mind. And a mirror is a very simple visual hint towards what it is, given that it's not going to be something with her voice. It's not going to be something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Given that these problems all come from a part of the character that they haven't necessarily addressed or resolved or within themselves, then a mirror is a very sort of on point way to communicate that, since it's where you observe yourself.
What's the song? That reflection's staring back at me.
I don't remember.
That's probably a lot of songs. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yes, if ain't that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.